is that Brian or Brian? Brian, right? Brian. And German American Association. And George Miller in the back here, right there, was a bartender who took an overdose of morphine. He committed suicide. He was a bartender in the Turner Hall. Committed suicide by taking morphine in a glass and told his wife he was mixing a dose of medicine. And his autopsy said he had taken the drugs while in a state of delirium caused by the excessive use of liquor. And this is a good place to talk about opium dens. And let's see. There were opium dens. Sacramento's Chinatown was basically I Street from 2nd to or 3rd to 5th in that area, with little areas past, spreading out from that nexus. And that's where the gambling dens were and the opium dens. And here are some pictures here. Yes, some of those back there. San Francisco, that's all I have to pass those around, and you can keep mine underneath the back. San Francisco was the first town to have an anti-opium den law. Otherwise, they were kind of semi-legal. They didn't really enforce until the white people started going to them. And usually it was either the criminal class or the dissolute rich that would go. And here's a description of an opium den from the Union. There are 16 opium dens in Sacramento. This is from 1876. 16 opium dens, most in the area around 4th and 5th Street. Yeah, 2nd and 3rd Street. This one here, you go down 2nd and 3rd Street, and it's beneath the sidewalk. This is when some of the sidewalks are raised and some weren't. This was beneath the sidewalk. You had to walk down a rickety ladder, and you stoop as you enter. The ceiling is close to your head. The floor is the rotten earth, packed and beaten, moist with street slime and expectorated saliva. Not judgmental at all. The walls are rough boards, the size of the room about 8 by 10 feet. The air noisome, confined, and sickening. The opium den is generally in the deepest, dingiest basement of the darkest, meanest of houses. It is a low, smoke-begrimed room screened by an entryway furnished with a few greasy benches and 1 or 2 low platforms. These are covered with matting and furnished with blocks of wood or narrow shelves for pillows. At intervals are placed trays. In the center of each, a glass bowl filled with oil, and in it floats a lighted taper. And there is an elaborate setup for opium pipes. There is a cleaner, different. You had to stick it on the end of the needle and then light it and trying to put it in there and have it come on. I don't know. It sounded elaborate, and you needed a tender for it. But usually the opium den would have a tray with some of these items, and then there would be the lighted candle, and there would also be a bell for you to ring if you needed something else. And if you're too lazy to get up and ring the bell, you could probably kick it with your feet. And that's where that kicking the gong around came from, the Cab Calloway song. That's about being an opium den. That's what Minnie was up to.
Minnie the moocher.
And there was, from the Union of the time, it says, there was one woman who dresses in deep black, goes closely veiled, has been seen to come about midnight to the dive under the sidewalk and remain there till early morning. She has managed to conceal her features, and attempts to track her have failed so far as fixing upon identity is concerned. She is not, it is believed, a disreputable woman. And beyond this case, no reputable white woman has been in opium dens in Sacramento.
Oh.
Or so they say. That would change. So, let's see, okay, good. Now, we're going to continue down here and go to, okay, This is Bob Goods. Bob Goods was a laborer. He had a street cleaning. He had actually the street cleaning business in Sacramento at one point. And he was a cop for a while. He was a tough guy, arrested for brawling a few times. He also he was arrested for brawling in uniform with another cop, which is probably why he didn't last too long. He also drove the patrol wagon, which doubled as the ambulance, because they're too cheap to buy an ambulance. City of Sacramento back then didn't have any money either. And he had experience with drug use. He was a cop who patrolled Chinatown and raided some opium dens. He was also the driver of the patrol wagon when Frank Clemens, a former sewing machine agent, was drunk and fighting with his wife. He went and picked him up and threw him in the back of his patrol wagon, and on the way to the station, he reached into his pocket, took a bottle of something, drank it, and he was dead by the time he got to the station. And that's it. That's Bob Goods. We're going to get going right down this area here, kind of along the fence here. And watch your step, but come in close.